And now, Halloween, the famous franchise series, probably the most famous slasher series behind Friday the 13th. Even though when Halloween first came out, it was never called a slasher film. That honour belonged to Friday the 13th. Though in retrospect, this is probably considered the first of the slasher films. Now this is the 25th anniversary Anchor Bay 2-disc special edition. In my opinion, the best edition of this film, without having seen the 30th anniversary edition. It has the theatrical edit, plus a full 87-minute behind-the-scenes retrospective documentary on Halloween. Now, of course, the film itself is, in my opinion, outstanding. It is simply one of the best horror films ever made, in my opinion. It is in my top 5 horror films of all time. And will remain there, I think, for the ever and a day. Now, it's pure suspense. This is not a gore film. It's not what do you call it? It's not a violently graphic film, but it is suspense, pure and simple. The whole film is actually a lead up to the final 20 minutes. To me, it is a superb lead up, and that final 20 minutes is probably some of the most terrifying moments I've had in the cinema, and not until I saw Wreck, the Spanish zombie film, had I experienced that sort of sheer terror and fear in a cinema again. So Halloween, outstanding classic. I probably don't need to say much more than this. The Anchor Bay versions are all excellent. Now, in '81, they followed up Halloween with the sequel, Halloween 2. This is a British import, and it is an original, it's not a copy. I got this one because it's my understanding it's the only one that is remixed in 5.1 Dolby Digital surround sound stereo, rather than just the standard stereo that most of the releases seem to have, and it's got a few special features, audio commentary, and well, that's about it. One of the curious things in this film, and it's one I only picked up later, I probably haven't seen it on VHS, is that Dr. Loomis does make a big deal of how he shot him 6 times, including in the heart, and he will not die. If you watch closely, you'll see that he actually shoots him 7 times with his 6-shot revolver. Now, I didn't find this as compelling or worked as well as the original Halloween, and yet, in theory, it should have. I saw Halloween in the cinema, and I thought, what a brilliant film. When a few years later, Halloween 2 came out, I thought, well, how could it go wrong? Because you got Michael Myers, he's not dead yet, and so this sequel must just continue the terror of that final 20 minutes. Well, in fact, in reality, it doesn't. It doesn't sustain that level of tension at all. Yet it's still a good film. Entertaining. Donald Pleasant's always fun to watch. So it's still well worth seeing. But of course, none of these sequels beats the original Halloween anyway. Then we come to part 3, which is an interesting film, because this was made to get away from Michael Myers. In other words, it keeps a theme of Halloween and actually goes back to the Celtic roots of Halloween itself, to bring you almost a science fiction supernatural thriller. Science fiction because you actually have robots in this doing the killing. I found this extremely good, actually. I really enjoyed this film. It is excellent. In some respects, I actually prefer this to Halloween 2. So there you go. Now, the next 2 I have only as copies. I saw Halloween 4 in the cinema, and while I certainly thought the suspense was excellent, it was getting up there, there was just some sequences in it that I just didn't... well, one sequence in particular where they're getting away on the truck, and it's an open truck, and yet supposedly Michael Myers is hiding either under that truck or behind the truck. How he gets there is beyond me, and then he just jumps up to provide a sort of a shock effect. I've got over that a wee bit now. I do enjoy Halloween 4. It's better than Halloween 2 in my opinion now. Good suspense in that film. Halloween 5, crap. Don't like it at all. It seems to be corny, it's overwrought. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. No, didn't like it at all. In fact, I think even Donald Pleasance was overacting a wee bit in this one. I feel it just didn't work. However, I may surprise you with the sixth one, The Curse of Michael Myers, which this is a copy from a British DVD. Now, I actually enjoyed this. I'd never seen it because I never heard any good reviews about it. And after Halloween 5, which I saw in the cinema, I decided that I didn't really need to see any more Halloween sequels. So I never did see this in the cinema. And I finally got it on DVD. And what can I say? This is not the producer's cut. This is the theatrical edit. I understand the producer's cut is a lot better. And yet I found this quite good. It's... To some respects, this is more like Halloween 3. In other words, it's going back to the roots of Halloween, the cults, the sense of supernatural evil. I can understand why some don't like this, because Michael Myers has just become an assassin, almost an assassin for hire, if you like. I personally didn't mind that. I'm not so hung up about horror films that I don't mind some deviation and variation. So I had no problem with Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, at all. Now I skip Halloween Resurrection, which is dire. It's probably as bad as Halloween 5. In fact, the only reason I got Halloween 5 is I had to get a copy of it so I could watch it. Halloween Resurrection, I have no intention of getting it. The opening was quite good. But I think it just turned into a routine slasher. So when Halloween H 20 came out in the cinema, I decided, nah, again, I'm not going to bother with any more of these Halloween sequels. And then I watched this on VHS originally. This got on DVD, of course. And when I saw it, I wished the hell I had gone to the cinema and seen it, because this is an excellent sequel. In fact, if anything, this is a superb follow-on from the original Halloween, and perhaps Halloween 2, but mostly this, you could watch Halloween and then go straight to this as a belated sequel. It works very well. I really enjoyed this film. Highly recommended. The best of the sequels, to be perfectly honest, in my opinion. Now we've got the documentary that Anchor Bay put out, Halloween 25 Years of Terror. Now the feature-length documentary on this is not the same as the feature-length documentary on the Halloween 2 disc, because this documentary is about the entire Halloween series, not just the first Halloween. The second disc is really interesting too, because it's got a lot of fan footage, we call it convention footage, interviews, panel discussions as they call them. Now this is excellent. Now the last Halloween, of course, is Rob Zombie's remake. And this is the Australian unrated director's cut release. And I can tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Now, this has got a lot of critical press, I think. The first half is actually the backstory of Michael Myers. Now, some have criticised Rob Zombie for doing that, because really part of the appeal of Halloween is that he's the boogeyman. He's just an unknown quantity. This turns him into basically a psychopathic killer, with basically unkillable, unstoppable, if you like. Becomes the boogeyman, I suppose, in time. I found the first half of this to be outstanding. The background, I thought, worked extremely well. Nice and gruesomely violent, right up to his escape from the asylum. Then it became a rehash of Carpenter's original Halloween to far less effect. However, I still enjoyed it as a homage to John Carpenter's original, though it does not work as well as the original. So the film's in two halves. The first half to me was outstanding. The second half was good, just average good. There is going to a 3-disc edition out, and I'll probably import that if it doesn't get released here, that 3-disc of Rob Zombie's Halloween. But the Australian release is definitely the uncut director's cut, and I'm quite pleased I saw it. So in all, I'd say the Halloween series has some misses, but more hits than misses, and it's a series I've thoroughly enjoyed. It has at least one outstanding classic, one of the greatest horror films of all time, in that collection. And that's my last video review for this weekend. We'll catch you later.